the network.
Bow! What's up, everybody? Once again, it's Rain Man Sean, and this is Inside the Network. It's our series where we show you exclusive content, interviews, and artist sessions from inside of brandmannetwork.com. And we chose 3 interviews for this initial series, and it's one of my favorite of all times. This particular interview right here with Spectacular Smith. If you don't know who this guy is, he's a part of legendary R&B group Pretty Ricky. He's CEO of AdWizard, one of the foremost social media marketing agencies when it comes to music and just brand and influencers in general. And in this interview, we go over how he basically lost it all in music, and then how he went from 60,000 to over 1 million a year in just using Twitter, which is crazy. But he was one of the earliest people when we talk about some of this meme marketing and so many things and how he went throughout that process. And it's just a great interview for those people who really take entrepreneurship seriously. So I'm not going to go too deep into that. I'm gonna just let you guys watch the interview. Check this thing out.
It's the network.
As you can see, I have another very special guest with me today, none other than Spectacular Smith. This guy is 1/4 of the legendary group Pretty Ricky, responsible for a lot of good times in my childhood, a lot of things I probably can't talk about now, but I thank you for them. But even bigger than that, today, there's been a lot of impact he's made in making that transition from music to legitimate entrepreneur is something that so many musicians have struggled to make. And as many of you guys know who are musicians, it's hard enough to just become a successful musician. So we're going to talk about a lot of those good things, but without further ado, welcome. What's up, Spectacular?
What's up, man?
Nothing much, man. I appreciate you doing this, man. Just first and foremost, I just want to get a little bit into that beginning, that backdrop, right? So obviously, so many people will know you just as a part of being a part of Pretty Ricky. But how old were you when that all blew up again?
So when I first got into the group Pretty Ricky, I was in middle school. Yeah, I was in middle school, and pretty much just my father wanted me to join the group because I used to be in the dance group. All I really cared about, like when I was actually performing and stuff back in the day, it was basically just performing with, on the stage. Like I just wanted to be in the dance group and just dance and have fun and had a lady scream. And then my brothers and them, they want to actually get into this rap group. They created a rap group called the Mavericks. And my father wanted me to join the group. He was like, well, you on the stage dancing with all these other people, like get on the stage and dance with your brothers. I didn't know how to rap at the time. So that wasn't something that it was that they wanted me to do. I didn't rap at all, but then one of the producers named Jim Johnson, who produced the whole first album, Blue Star album, they was basically saying like, hey, let Spec get a verse on the song. So I was like, all right, cool. I mean, I don't know how to rap or nothing, but I get a verse. And they gave me the one verse on the song, and I performed it, and all the ladies went crazy. So from that point forward, he was like, I put Spec on all the songs now. So we went back and redid the whole album, and they stopped put me on all the songs, and I taught myself how to rap. And pretty much from there, we just kept making singles and releasing them and going out and street teaming and doing everything we had to do, perform to actually build on the brand and blow ourselves up.
Well, so how long were you a part of it? From the time that you guys like really hit with that project. What was y'all's first hit single? Was that Grind on Me, or was it something before that? I can't remember.
Yeah, so it depends on how much of a fan you are of Pretty Ricky, right? So if you was a fan of Pretty Ricky from day one, then our first single was called Flossin'. Okay. And it hit the airwaves, it went crazy, and it was building from there. And that's when we got our first hype from. So back then, it wasn't no Twitter, Instagram, and all that stuff out back then. So we literally had to perform. We performed at one show. Somebody that was there was like, hey, I want you to perform at my event. Somebody that was at the event that we performed at next, it was like, oh, I want you to perform at our event. So we kept getting shows, bookings. And then we ended up with 2 shows a day some days, sometimes 3 shows a day. We'll hit like 2 cities at one day just to do 2 shows. So pretty much we just really just start building from there, man. And the song just really pretty much took off and started getting played on the radio. And then that's when we started doing Grind on Me, and we created the record and we performed at a place called Hollywood Horror in Miami with Power 96. And things just kind of took off, man, from there. Like they started playing it once a day in the Love Hour. It started at 9 p.m. And then everybody started calling and requesting it. Please play that song. Please play that song. And it broke the record of the #1 requested record in the history of the radio station. And they was forced to play it. And then things just kind of took off from there. And after that, CEO Craig Kalman came down from Atlantic Records, and it was like, well, I want to sign somebody from Florida who's the newest thing, like who's the best thing to pop next. And it was like, well, you got to meet these guys Pretty Ricky. And we met with the CEO, and we met him in a hotel room, and he asked us to perform. And my father taught us, like, when it's time to go, it's time to go. And he was like, all right, cool, perform. We grabbed forks, knives, and we just went crazy right in front of him. He was like, yo, I'm trying to sign y'all right now.
Yeah.
He whipped out paperwork. He was like, yo, I'm trying to sign y'all right now. My dad was like, oh, hold on, wait. And we got the paperwork together and signed to Atlantic Records and pretty much took off.
Sheesh. Dang. That's what's up. I didn't realize that y'all had dropped that single before getting signed. That's interesting.
Yeah, we dropped. That's the reason why we got signed, because the song was the #1 song on the radio at the time in Miami, and it started spreading throughout the nation, and everybody started picking it up and playing it. We started charting. Then everybody was like, "Damn, who the hell is this group?" So when he met up with us, we already had history. You know, actually, Jive Records offered us way more money, like $2.5 million more than what we was actually getting offered, and my pops turned it down to go with Atlantic Records. So off a handshake. He felt like Craig came down. He had the interest. Everybody else was just phone calls. And Craig came down, met with us, and it was more interest there for my old boy. And which old boy stand for dad, just in case you ain't from Florida. But yeah, so that's how I went. And we, you know, God knows, like if we would have went with Jive Records, who knows if we would have been bigger or we even would have got shelf. I don't know. I'm pretty satisfied the way things went with Atlantic Records. So who knows? Sometimes it ain't about the money. It's about the passion and the team that's behind you that believe in you.
I'm interested in that because like where you are now and having to be a leader in your business, right? How much do you look at people in terms of, you know, how they carry themselves, the passion, those things that you mentioned versus actually delivering? Like some people, they just love a certain specific area of business, but then they might not necessarily follow up with actually being able to deliver with it. And then when you take certain principles and values, like what you said, like with the dad, you know, off of a handshake and the fact that you came down here, like how much do all of those type of principles play into the way you go throughout business?
For me, I look at numerous of things when I decide to do business with you or I'm hiring employees. With my team is really about learning. You got to be a learner. If you like, there's no such thing as I'm good. Like there's no such thing. We always want to go from good to great and then from great to unstoppable. And a lot of times people don't even understand their greatness. So I make sure that the person who I'm hiring at least have the potential to get there and have the mindset to get there. So that's number one. You have to have the mindset. You have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to help out. You have to be willing to give back to the community, because it's not all about us at the end of the day. It's not about money. We're a fast growing company, so money is no issue to us. We got literally a waiting list for people who wants to partner with us and hire us to run their social media and monetize their social media, you know, paying us from $5K all the way to $25K a month just on monthly retainer. And then we got some campaigns from $35K, you know, to 6-figure campaigns once a month. So we get tons of people that want to work with us. So we make sure that the people who are involved, my team, we make sure that they have those different things checked off. You know, always learning, always testing, always willing to change. Things change all the time in the social media industry. So if you're not cool with change, then you kind of like shooting yourself in the foot, because things change all the time. And if you're one of those people that you get flustered and like things hit the fan and you're like, oh my God, you panic, then you might not be great for my team. So
Right.
we really come in, focus on certain things, and focus on the people we like and the products we like, the people we like. You might not even have a huge product, but you might have a great story, or you might have a great product, but no story, and we can help you build your story. So it's different things. So just like when it comes to my team, I look at certain things. When it comes to doing business with people, I have to like you. Like, I can do business with 1 million people. I get opportunities thrown to me literally every single day. Somebody is DMing me about something, or walking up to me, asking me about something when I'm doing speaking engagements. They're asking me about certain things and partnering this, investing in that. So it's really about me connecting with you as an individual, and me connecting with you as a person who's doing things in a community, or people who's doing certain things that's going to better the world, or just somebody who's just a genuine good person. Because if you're an asshole, I'd rather not deal with the headache, because it's so much money. It's money everywhere. I know people getting rich off of selling socks. I know people getting rich off of selling bracelets, cars, crypto. It's a million ways to make money. So I pick and choose on what I believe in and what I like and the people I like, and I invest in people.
Dope. I can respect that for real, because I definitely understand. Like, especially if you don't have to, but yeah, there's so many ways to get it. Why deal with certain headaches? Mm-hmm. So just to rewind for a second to make it even clear for those watching, how you even got into where you are now, because I've heard you tell that story as far as like Twitter, right? You started there, and not even know you can make money from it at first. Like, how did you actually decide, okay, I'm gonna make money off of this thing, and I'm gonna actually cap off of it too?
Twitter. So at the time it was 2009, and I was on tour. I just got off a tour, but I was on tour back then also. And it was the late night special tour. And one of my colleagues named Matty J hit me up trying to get a referral fee off a company called My Likes, which is now bought out. So don't do the research trying to go get some money. They got bought out by Uber and Amazon. But I was, he hit me up and told me that I could make money off of tweeting. And I felt like it couldn't be nothing easier than that. I was on stage all day and sleepless nights in the studio. I felt like that was super easy to do. So I was like, all right, cool. Let me figure it out. And at the time I had like 50,000 followers, but I felt like in order for me to really make some serious money, like I gotta expand this. I gotta scale this thing up, and I couldn't scale it with my own personal brand. I couldn't create 100 spectacular accounts or Pretty Ricky accounts. Mm-hmm. So I just started thinking of creative ways I can grow a massive following, which was different fan accounts, parody accounts. So all those parody accounts you see on Twitter and all that, like I was one of the first parody accounts ever. So I really created the whole parody theme and really creating the role playing accounts, acting like, I was the celebrity and things like that. And people started following because the real Will Ferrell not worried about entertaining everybody all day. Mm. But me, I was, because I had incentive. The more followers I was making, the funnier I was. People want to follow me. And when I post ads and traffic sold against the ads, ads sold against the traffic, I'm able to make some money. So I had incentive. Say that again.
You got a fake Will Ferrell account?
Oh my God. I had Will Ferrell, Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt. I had Cat Williams, Eddie Murphy, Jim Carrey. I had pretty much everybody. If you was hot, I jumped on the page. I created it. I grew all my followers up to 6 million followers. Twitter decided to delete me because they felt like I was impersonating people and things like that. So they deleted all my accounts and I had to start from scratch. And they was like, oh, you got to put parody in the bio so people know you're a fan account. I was like, all right, whatever then. So I put parody in the bio. So now if you see all these parody accounts on Twitter, it's because of me that they got to put parody in the bio. And
Wow.
then I blew it up to like 4 million followers again. And then, yeah, and then I started making money. So I was basically top 5 on Twitter. Like I was literally number 1 almost every single day. And every single time you hit number 1 on my likes, you get like $150. So I was literally making probably like an extra like $3,000 to $4,000 a month just off of being number 1. Number 2 got $50. Number 1 got $150. And they had a leaderboard where you can see who was making what money. And I was always number 1. You know, sometimes I'd be number 2 and then I go hard. Like, it's like, what? I'm down by $200. I go hard, make an extra $200 at the end of the day just to hit that number 1 spot. Yeah.
Dang. Wait, so how exactly do they judge who becomes number 1 and how they get the money?
So they had a basically a whole system that tracked everything. So once you post on social media, post a link or some articles or something, and then once you post the link, the people who click on the link, you get paid off of it. So they had a leaderboard. So it was over 100,000 people in the database, and whoever was making the most money was on the top 100 leaderboard.
Got you.
And I was always number 1. It was me, Matty J. It was a guy named Kevin Giddem, and then it was another guy named your favorite white guy.
Yeah. I remember a couple of those names now. That's funny. But I just, you see them on social media. You didn't actually actually process it and think of it as a real person for real. That's funny. But I'm hearing something interesting though, man, because you're like that same thing that made you say, I am number 2 right now. I want to be number 1 actually alludes to something that I was curious about, because the fact that you were already successful in music, right? And like some people don't understand. It's like, oh yeah, you posting memes and all this kind of stuff, growing a fake page, but that junk is like real work. Like for real work.
Yeah.
So what had you doing that? Like, as opposed to just, and yeah, like what had you for real going that hard while you're already successful to the point where, you don't necessarily need money at the time. Why were you doing it?
I mean, it was just another thing to conquer. Really, that's it. I mean, everything that I do in life, I want to be top 5, if not number 1. You talk about musicians and the bands that came out in our era, you have to put Pretty Ricky in top 3, if not number 1. That's how I feel. So when I did the whole social media thing, I'm like, okay, cool. How can I become number 1? So I started figuring out ways I could become number 1 and taking it serious. I take everything in life. I approach everything in life the same way. It's like, you got to do the things that the people don't want to do to get what people don't have. And people didn't want to go and be on the computer for 12 hours a day, 18 hours a day on the computer all day. And my girl sometimes had to beg me to come to bed. Like, I was like, nah, every time I refresh, I made $100. Like, I'm going crazy. So it was just it was addicting at times, because how the money happened. Like, you can literally post something, refresh, you make money. You could see the money growing. Yeah. So I just wanted to grow, and then it was fun. And then when Twitter started deleting all accounts and like banning all the parody accounts, they kind of took a L, because once that had stopped, everybody was coming on Twitter for the parody accounts and trending topics. Like, we had like 5 trending topics at one time. And we the reason, me, Matty J, your favorite white guy, we had our own little squad. We the reason why they switched the way trending topics work. Because before, if something was trending, it actually trend. But now they started controlling what trends. And we was the reason, because we had like freaking 5, 6 trending topics up at one time. Like, dumb hashtags. It's just like dumb hashtags. It's like, you mad when hashtag, and then like everybody put like whatever behind it, and it just goes viral. So I had so many pages. I was making things go crazy. I had a Grumpy Cat page, which pretty much took off once I created it, and that blew up. So like, it was just a constant grind, and at the same time, I had the incentive of making money and incentive of racing for the number 1 spot. And I just approached it like that. Then it came a point where I just started taking other people pages. I was like, hey, I knew who the top 5 was, top 10 really. And I went to them like, yo, I'm number 1. You ain't got time for this. I know you ain't got time for this. Let me actually run this for you. And I get a percentage. We split it. Like, I take this amount, you take this amount. I'm going to run everything. I'm going to run your ads. I'm going to grow your page. And I automated all my accounts. all my accounts. So I was shooting out probably like 24 tweets on like 25 pages every single day, memes, everything. And I started recruiting other people. And that's really when I started my business. I started running like 10, 15 accounts, and everybody was making like $3 to $5 grand a week. And my pages was making like $50,000 a month. And we was just like, I just started killing it for everybody. And then that's when I thought like, hold up, if I could do these for fake parody accounts, I could do these for celebrity accounts. So that's what gave me the mindset to actually transition into the whole celebrity space. You know, so once I actually got to a point, I was just like, yo, I need to make this transition. And then like anybody, you know how you procrastinate so much, you want to really take that step. But I kept waiting. And then I actually seen somebody doing my idea. I was like, hold up now, that's my idea. Like people start monetizing celebrity accounts. And I was like, hold up now. So the stuff I was doing on Twitter, people was doing on Facebook. I was just like, oh hell no. So I kind of transitioned to Facebook after having a conversation with Sean Keaston and Soulja Boy, and made the transition after I seen somebody doing my stuff. And from that point forward, I kind of like was like, yo, let me jump on this. And I created a company around it. I moved to LA after this. And at this point, my father was handling all my funds as Pretty Ricky. And I had this money coming in, but Twitter deleted all my stuff. I had to start over from scratch. So all my money went from all this money, basically millions, basically in revenue, all the way to like zero within like a day, just flatlined me. And then my father was handling all my money in Pretty Ricky, and he just made bad business decisions with the money, left us flat broke from that. And then I had to build up a company called Sound Exchange, gave me 60 grand by mistake off of my royalties. And it was like, oh, you know, can we get that money back? And I was just like, you ain't get nothing back. I was like, don't I have more money coming? And it was just like, yeah. So I was like, all right, take it out of that. And I basically took that 60 grand, and that's what I started my company Awazar with. And I started signing my first people. Of course, I signed Soulja Boy. I went to sign Sean Kingston, and I started cutting checks up front and became like the money man and started monetizing their pages, and was like, you know what? This is a way that I can prove to you I'm gonna make money. I'm gonna put my money where my mouth at. Boom. And I give them a minimum. Like I'm gonna make you guarantee every single month 15 grand. And I put that in the contract, and I gave them money up front. And then I started working my way up. And now I ended up with over 100 celebrities monetizing from day to day. Some guys making 20K a month, some guys making 60K a month, and just started killing it for them. And I started my company from that money by mistake and turned it into millions.
Hey man, that's dope. I didn't even know Sound Exchange was out here making mistakes like that. That's interesting.
Oh, they took a L. They took a L, and then what make it so bad, my brother thought that they overpaid me and underpaid him. So he called and he was like, yo, y'all underpaid me. And it was, oh, it was a mistake. And that's how they found out they overpaid me. They was going to continue to pay me for the whole group every single month. And then, you know, he kind of said something, and then they, you know,
oh, dang.
They figured it out. And then that's when they said, oh, you owe us money. I owe you nothing. Y'all better recoup that. Yeah. So
Yo, that's crazy.
Pardon the interruption for a quick commercial break, because have you noticed, we say that we're brought to you by BrandmanNetwork.com. That's us. Now, what do we mean by that? Well, we've signed ourselves and taken control of our situation so we can bring you the most educational, most impactful content without any middleman. Now, what is BrandmanNetwork.com? It's an online artist development platform that allows artists to help build and develop their fan base, but not only that, starting with their brand and their actual marketing infrastructure so they can cut out the middleman in their own process and actually have a true success that they can repeat, right? Their own systems, their own formula, because there is no one size fits all when it comes to the music industry. We help you find your fit, and it's not a one-off consultation. You have the ability to build ongoing relationships with the mentors and other resources within BrandmanNetwork.com, so we can understand that, yo, this isn't just a plug and play. This artist right here literally is dealing with an investor situation. This artist right here is currently about to get signed by our record label, and we're trying to tell them what the negotiation should look like. And this other person right here, They just need to get their content game heavy so then maybe one day they can get in a position where they can build their fan base. We do this very well, and it's all about building a relationship so we can get you where you need to be versus trying one particular system or one course and hoping that it works for you. So of course, if that's you or you have any artists or manager friends that you think might be interested, tell them to check out brandmannetwork.com. Now let's get back to this interview.
Oh, all right. Like with what you're doing today, like obviously those are beginnings, but how would you best say it looks like for AdWizard today? Because you have these big celebrities, but can't anybody just sign up to pay for you guys' services? Have you split it off into different types of services?
Mm-hmm. So we got a triangle. So our triangle is basically celebrities who have over 1 million followers. We help them monetize it. So now we kind of have a play with Instagram. So it drops down to like 500K now to start monetizing with us. And that's the whole monetization strategy. So we help you with video monetization, sponsor posts, different ways to make money on social media. Then the next part of the triangle is actually helping those people who have a great story, have a great product, and we basically give them a assigned team so they don't have to worry about doing anything, because a lot of people, they're confused on where to go, where to start, or they feel like they got themselves to a certain level and they just plateaued. So we help them with pairing them up with the right influencers to get their message out, and the right strategy, proven strategy, 90-day strategy on figuring out what their go-to message is to go to market with. And we help them launch it with content, viral content, and we give them a whole social media team to either be a part of their team, or if they don't have a team, we become their team. And that part is like our Growth X part of the program. And then we have our influencer marketing program, where it's like these companies who want to use our celebrities, they like, well, Spec, we know you got all these celebrities, like, let us not only use you to help grow our social media, but let us come in and use you guys to help sell our product. So we started an influencer marketing leg of the company, and now we started helping different personality brands and companies, from Fortune 500 companies to startups, start launching their products and really get them going with like a minimum 35K budget. They come in, they submit the budget, and we do a campaign DNA. We basically figure out who's actually the people who will want to buy from you. So we look at the influencers and we see who has a certain infinity score or a certain, score that I can pull through my technology and find out who's the people who will actually buy from you. So like, say if you're Lyft, right? We can find the influencers that have a huge demographic that loves Uber. 80% of their following loves Uber. So we'll find those different pages, and then we'll put the offer in front, a Lyft offer in front of them. We know they love Uber already. Uber never even promoted with this influencer. So we come in and we go snag all Uber influencers and Uber followers and customers off a campaign with Lyft. And we kind of like built technology around it like that, so we can really get to the masses. And we use different celebrities to actually do it at the same time, with using, different paid media methods and running it through our technology. And then we realized that triangle, that everybody couldn't be in that triangle. So what we did was, not only we figured out a way to package everything up for the average person to come in and join our academy, where we actually teach everything we do in that triangle. So we teach you, how to build your social media. We teach you how to build content. We teach you how to do lead generation, marketing, leadership, credit, like all these different things that's actually going to help you build on your brand. Because I really thought about people in general and the things that people go to college and they in a debt, right? That you in $100,000 debt. You get out of college, you can't even find a job, or you get out of college, you do find a job, but then the extra money you made, you went to college for to make extra money, you paying back in damn student loans. So I just feel like it's a huge gap, and I feel like it's kind of scammy when it comes to college, right? And then I end up going to Harvard just to see what I was missing, right? And make sure I can take what I'm saying and make sure I can prove out what I'm saying. So I end up got my Harvard shirt on right now. But
That's dope.
but actually, I went to Harvard just to see what they was teaching and see what I can actually add in my program and some ways that they're teaching the teaching methods, and figure out ways that I can help prove what I'm saying, right? Back up. And what I realized is it's things that they're not teaching. Like in school, they're not teaching you how to manage your money. What's the difference between an LLC, a S corp, a C corp, taxes, credit, leadership, things that you need to know to become successful in life. And they're not teaching that. So instead of being a person that actually complains about what's going on and not doing nothing, I'm an action-based person. Like if I have an issue with something, I come up with a solution in my company, in life, in relationships, in business, everything. And I feel like this is a way not only to get people who can't afford that triangle that I was talking about earlier, but actually help more individuals, get out of debt. When you join my program, you're not in all this debt. So at least you invest in yourself, but now you don't have to be in debt within the first 2-3 months. You're making money, or you're growing your followers to get more credibility, more social proof to make more money. And we teach you all the skills to bring in, all the revenue you want, as long as you're dedicated to your craft. And we have million teachers. So instead of professors, we actually have people killing it right now as we speak with $1 million companies, multi-million-dollar companies, $100 million companies, 8 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures. And we have not even 6 figures, my bad. So it's 7, 8, and 9 figure businesses. Yeah, that's teaching in the program. And that was the difference. Like, all right, cool. Professors teaching, but are they doing the stuff that they're talking about right now in their own business? Like, I feel like if I want to become a fit person, like I want to go to a bodybuilder who already killing it, guy who won awards in bodybuilding, the guy who's number one. That's who I want to learn from. That's who I want to get fit from and get fit with and be my trainer and things like that. And I took the same approach with my academy. It's like, yo, these dudes are killing it. This guy is, doing millions in revenue off his agency. This guy is doing $2 million. This girl does sales and she did $1.2 million off her sales strategy. So everybody who's actually powerful in their niche and in their expertise, I got to teach that in my program. So it's called AdWizard Academy. That's my university. And then, the program that I'm pushing right now is my Entrepreneur MBA program, which is Entrepreneur Mastering Business Affluence, which stands for Mastering Business Wealth, and teaching everything you need to know to build wealth in the community and for your family.
Dope. Yeah, that's dope. So you really created your own college, basically, for real.
Basically, yeah.
Dope. I always say that, man, because I have this is an ongoing thing with me. I've been wanting to reform education personally in some form or fashion for years, just because the stuff in college, like you said, is not necessarily applicable or is so high level, right? Like even if you're in marketing, maybe it's changing today, probably in some programs, hopefully.
Marketing is the worst though.
Exactly.
Because if you learn something 3 years ago and then you finally get out of school and apply it now, it don't work no more.
Exactly. And it's like when I was realizing that some people weren't even doing like Facebook ads and things like that in college, and that's pretty much how everything is moving outside of that.
Exactly. What are you teaching me? What am I learning? Why am I paying all this money to use something I can't even use? All you basically giving me is a degree that once I get to my workspace and they ask me to do a Facebook ad, launch a Facebook ad, I can't even do it.
Man, to me, colleges at the end of the day are just a brand, and you really just going to flip the brand. Hopefully you can flip that brand into some money, and it don't work that
exactly
way.
I think college is basically about networking. If you're not taking that approach and going to an Ivy League school, I feel like for networking, I feel like college is not. I think college is good to learn, right? But there's way better things out there right now in the internet that can teach you way faster than college can and get you a result way faster than college can. If you literally go and you study the top 10 books in your niche, right? And you go take the top 10 programs in your niche, it'll probably take you 6 months to do so. And you'll already be making money within the 7 months and have more experience and the ability to generate wealth with that, and listening to podcasts and reading blogs and other than being in college all day and like every single week you at college and you in all this debt. And then those programs that you buy is probably going to cost what, two grand a piece, $5,000, get some mastermind groups. You like by the time you spend 50 grand max, probably like even 20 grand, probably like 20 grand max in some books and some masterminds, like you're literally 25 grand and you way more influential than a person that went to college for 4 years.
100%, man. 100%. That's I think if a lot more people like just hear that snippet of what you just said and actually take that route, it'll be surprising on like the impact that they can have. But
absolutely. Because listen, if you took 150 grand, right? If that's how much you owe in college, and you took that 150 grand and you joined elite mastermind groups and you got into those mastermind groups for 25 grand, 25 grand, you're around people who are making $10 million, $15 million. The shit they can teach you in those mastermind groups is unbelievable on the things that you can actually come together and not only network with these people, but now you have access to these people and now you're able to do things that the regular college person couldn't do with a 4-year degree. That's just how I see it. So if you're not going in thinking about networking and building a relationship with the people that's in those Ivy League schools, I don't really see that being the most effective way to use your time.
100%, bro. I agree, and you can take that from somebody who went to college, and I hated it the whole time I was there. But I was like, you know what, I did it for my mom. But yeah, I agree 100%, man. There's something specific that you say and that your company says that I want to figure out. How do you guys differentiate, right? So many people say that they can grow your social media, but you guys specifically say we're the number one company for monetization through social media. What's the difference in just growing social media and how you monetize social media?
So we've been doing this for so long. We figured out every single way to monetize. Like right now, video monetization is on steroids, right? I know guys who don't even have companies making 100 grand a month off of this. And this is all people who's in my space. So when I put my hands on it, I'm going 10x it every single time. So my team understands this world. We understand what makes money. We understand when a trend is coming and we capitalize off the trend. You know, It was one trend off of Facebook watch videos. You know, me and my team was making $1 million a week off of 3 days, $1 million. So it's like those different trends come and go, but we understand it so well. It's hard for people to compete with us. And we have so many people that's inside of those trends. We connected, like we have so many of those guys working for my company. So it's hard for you to compete. So if you have a brand, there's no way for us not to know how to monetize it. So if it's e-commerce or if it's, you know, sponsored posts, if it's ad breaks on Facebook, if it's whatever it is, if it's selling programs, funnels, like we take pride in really figuring out what's the next wave, what's the new it, and making sure that we're ahead of the curve at all times because things change all the time. Like one of my competitors was making $45 million a year and just went out of business at a snap of a finger because they didn't see the change coming. And if you're in this business and you can't see the change coming before it comes, you're dead. And that's just how social media work. And you got to be ahead of the curve. And my team, we take pride in understanding what's going on and what's next.
Interesting. That's why you do so many things, because you just realize I can't say, oh yeah, we do this one thing, even though you might be able to capitalize off of that one thing for a period of time. Like you said, you might make $45 million just doing one specific or a few specific types of monetization. But if that trend changes, then
yeah, I think for me, it's just everything really goes together. So celebrities need sponsors. So that's influencer marketing. Okay. And people who want to be celebrities need a machine behind them to make them celebrities. So it just go hand in hand. It's just a big triangle. And then the celebrities, themselves, they need to grow their following even more, and they need money from advertisers. So like everything goes together. And then I just realized that school system is broke, and then the things that I'm doing for my company, other people can utilize the skill set. And instead of me just coming in and teaching, I have my team teaching and other millionaires, successful friends and mentors teaching also. So it's like something I can change the way people teach and learn, and change the way the culture is looked at, and because now you have these different skill sets that you have to offer that other people don't. So that's my game plan. That's how I look at things.
Got you. Now I got two primary questions that I like to end with. The first one is, what's the difference between being an entrepreneur and a musician?
I mean, I definitely think it all depends. It's two type of musicians. You have musicians that's all artsy and all they care about is the craft. And then you have the musicians that understand the business. So the ones who's just all artsy and like musically and all that type of vibe of what they consider themselves as, they're more of, it's really more like of a puppet, honestly. It's like, when somebody decide to pull your strings and make you jump or whatever, like you really at the next person beck and call. It's up to them, unless you really, well, you still got to know the business is hard. So anybody who's just 100% on the creative side is like, I feel for them, because it's not longevity. You got to wait for somebody to do stuff for you, right?
Yeah.
Some pull it off, but majority of the people don't. So you'll see somebody like Spike, like they'll have this huge career and then they just flatline and you never hear from them again. Or they have this huge career and then the label decide they don't want to deal with them no more. They cut them off, drop them from the label, and they never make a comeback. Versus the artists who understand the business, they might have a huge spike and they end up signing somebody else, and now they got a huge spike, and like it lives on like that. Or the people who did make that huge spike, they took advantage of the relationships of the business and they set themselves up for a bigger future. So I would definitely say for an entrepreneur side, it's kind of the same thing. It's like you always got to reinvent yourself. You always got to be creative. You always got to figure out how to touch the people. It's like it's the same thing, right? And just becoming better and better every single day. Like if you look at everybody who's successful in music as a musician, they all jumped into the entrepreneur side. If you look at Rihanna right now, she's killing it off of her cosmetics or her makeup line or whatever you want to call it. You look at Jay-Z, he just hit $1 billion. If you look at everything, I went and analyzed everything he's doing. I'm like, oh, I'm doing that. I'm doing that. I was like, I'm on my way. If you really break down what Jay-Z did, right? He took his music stuff, he just didn't throw it to the side. He's like, all right, you know what? I'm doing concerts and I'm getting paid peanuts from the promoter. Even if I get paid $1 million, they're making $20 million. So why the hell am I getting $1 million just to perform? So let me come in on a partnership end, partner with Live Nation. And then once I partner with Live Nation, learn it in and outs. And then from that point forward, I can launch my own stuff. So he ended up doing that. And then he ended up signing other artists and creating an agency part of it, where now he's representing sports talent. He's representing artists. And he said, listen, if you want to go on tour, I'm assigned to exclusive agreement. And now I get to make all the money. I cut you the check and now I'm the promoter. So this is all stuff that's in the works for me. So the same thing. So boom, you got Rock Nation put to the side. And then you have next is his streaming platform, a digital product, which is my digital product, which is my academy. So he has his digital product. I have my digital product. His is streaming. Mine's is education. Then the next thing you look at is a product, Duce, and then Ace of Spade. So a physical product. Right now, I'm in the process of launching a physical product. It's not done yet, so I don't like to talk about stuff until it's done, ready to launch. But I can basically take the place of a physical product and just say, hey, I got my agency, which is not really a scalable model. So that's why it's good to actually have a product, right? So instead of actually having a physical product, I just got multiple digital products for right now until I launch my physical product. And then I have a huge real estate portfolio. So same thing, real estate, recurring revenue, passive income, boom, that's done. So it's like everything that he did, I'm pretty much doing the same thing, right? And he had a better chance to really scaling his up faster because he had his record label that took off, and he took all that revenue that he earned from that, which was millions, and he did the right thing with his money, 40/40 Club, and he created partnerships, and he really, like, he's smart as hell, and he really took advantage of his money versus the normal guy who's on the artist side don't do that. They go buy cars and chains and all this stuff instead of investing. Me, I started from a $60,000 sound exchange check, and turned it into millions within a year. So it's a slower build for me, versus comparing me to Jay-Z, the way he really just took off and made the decisions he made. But honestly, you really just one decision, one partnership away from blowing the hell up. And I understand that. It's about products. And it's about digital products. I mean, physical products and digital products. You look at Dr. Dre, he had the beats. He did the deal, I think was Harrell, what his name was. Whatever the executive name was, he did the deal with Beats. They got bought out for like $3 billion or something like that. And he made all his money, not off of music. He took his name and likeness and he turned it into a business venture. And he took advantage of it. It was a product and blew the hell up. Boom. Now he's close to a billionaire, So all these things is based on products. Diddy, like I could talk about this all day. Everything is based on products and digital, and then you have some form of like agency model or things like that. So yeah, my billion coming soon. Trust me.
I love the fact that you are truly like studying it and not just seeing one thing and say, let me go do that thing, trying to catch a wave that's already done. Like, oh, this person has liquor, now let me get liquor.
No, no. So,
like that's dope.
Yeah. So what I got taught from one of my mentors is if everybody is jumping on it, stay away from it. Mm-hmm. And my mentor I'm talking about is Warren Buffett, and not because I know him personally, but because I study him as a mentor. Just because you don't know somebody personally don't mean they can mentor you. So I listen to him. He's like, listen, if everybody jumping on it, stay away from it. Like even when he buy his real estate or if he buy his investments, if everybody jumping on something, that's when you stay away. And then when everybody running, that's when you go towards it. So it's like when the market crashed in 2009, everybody was running away from real estate. But the wealthy and the rich realized everything. They looked at it as in a different light. They're like, oh shit, this on discount. Like this is on the discount rack. Let me buy everything. Everybody like, oh, don't invest in real estate. The market is crashing. All the rich people like, let me get this, let me get that, let me get this, let me get that. And then what is already at rock bottom, so guess what? It has to go back up. So everybody jumping on liquor and that, you missed that boat already. That boat is gone. Not saying nobody can't squeeze in, but the possibility of you just popping off of some damn liquor is like, I think that wave is gone. Yeah. So there's going to be some people that get in, but for majority of the people who think about doing something and you want to have a high success rate, is not going to be something that already popped off.
Dope, man. All right. So my last question is leadership. And this is specifically because one, that's something that I'm constantly working on myself, especially with my businesses and having to really get to the point where I'm taking on more and more people as opposed to like putting everything on my back. And specifically, I'm asking you because I remember hearing you say something about leadership. I don't know. I can't remember where it was.
Part of my podcast.
Probably. So I just want to hear you talk a little bit about those experiences and how you approach leadership, because it was crazy to me just the fact you basically was like, you were transparent where you're like, I ain't really know how to lead.
Oh, you talking about my Inc. interview. Okay.
Oh, that's what that was. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that right there, I just want to see that mentality, how you made that switch and how you approach it now.
Yeah. So for me, when I started my company, I knew nothing about a company. Like I said, I didn't get educated on none of this stuff. And that's why I'm a firm believer in like self-education, because everything I'm doing right now, I just literally learn from books, programs, mentors, and mastermind groups. Every single thing. Podcast, books, like that's everything I learned from. So, and I have a multi-million-dollar company within like a year. So I knew nothing about that. So I had to study leadership. I had to read, how to win friends, influence people. I had to read what got you here won't get you there. And Goldsmith books. So it's like good leaders in their books and figuring out how to lead, and Think and Grow Rich book. So different things that develop a mindset, and then realizing how to understand people, emotional intelligence. And I didn't know any of these things. So I was the person that came in and like in that interview, I was like having a conversation with my team, and they did something I didn't like. And in the meeting, one of my employees was like, "Hey, well, I thought, we was a team. Like, I thought that this was like everybody company." And I was like, "No, this is my company. This ain't nobody company but mine." I said, "Oh my God." I thought back to what I said. I was like, what was I thinking? Once I started reading these leadership books and taking these leadership programs and things like that, I was like, wow, I fucked up. Right? I'm like, and if you want to edit that part, I messed up. Right. And basically, I realized that in order for you to lead a team correctly, they have to feel a sense of ownership. So if they don't feel like they're a part of it and you're not giving them credit, I used to take all the credit. I used to post stuff and like, yeah, I'm killing it. And know my team. I knew my team did it. I know I didn't do it, but I come in and like, cause I'm the face. So I'm just like I'm just showing the work. Like, I'm like, yo, we up here killing it. Like, I'm out here. And I'm not even like giving no credit or anything like that. So then I realized that people want their credit, people want their praise, and people want sense of ownership. So once I realized that, I started praising my team for things they did. I don't care how small it is. If it's a win, it's a win. And I'm celebrating. I have the whole company celebrated together. We in a clapping, cheering, high-fiving every single accomplishment just to get everybody morale up and keep that up, right? And giving them credit for things they do. If they got a page that they grew to 1 million followers, hey, if it was Josh, it's Josh. If it was Autumn, it's Autumn. If it's Martha, it's Martha. Like whoever it is, give them their praise. That's who did it. That's part of my team, tagging them. This is the person, like, because that's what it's about. It ain't about me, because at the end of the day, I'm just the CEO. They have to run the ship. All I could do is steer the ship, but they have to paddle and, get the ship to where it got to go. So if they down and not inspired, then there's only so much I can do from the top. They got to put the work in. So you have to give them their credit, and they have to understand that this is our vision. This is our vision together. Right? I'm just the CEO. But at the end of the day, the vision that we're coming up with together, right? This is our vision. This is what we believe in. This is our values. This is our mission. This is when we go left together. When we go right together. And everybody lead together. Jacko, Extreme Ownership is a great book too. And what he said in that book was, Jacko, he basically said, "There's no such thing as a bad team, only a such thing as a bad leader." So when he said that, I thought about it like, wow. Because he had an example in his book. He was like, one boat, they had like a boat race, and boat one or whatever, I don't know the numbers of the boat, but boat one kept losing, coming in last place. And then boat two was killing it. Boat two was killing it every single time. And boat one was blaming it on his people. Like, yo, they not paddling hard enough. They not doing this. They not doing that. And they kept coming in last. And then he was like, you know what? He took boat one and he gave the person who was leading the ship to boat two. And the person that was on boat two went to boat one. And what he did was he basically was encouraging them and pushing them. Was like, you got this, like, go, let's go. Coming up with a strategy as a team. And everything he did was learn from his mistakes. He took the ownership when things went wrong, and he really started pushing his team. And then boom, all of a sudden, boat two started coming in third place, and boat one that was last came in first. So it just proves that it was the same people, but different leaders. Yeah. And then when you realize that, wow, he motivated his people, he inspired his people, he gave the credit to his people. He took ownership for when things went wrong, because I used to be the person to point fingers in my company. Oh, it's your fault. It's your fault. But in reality, you really look at anything that has to do with my company, is my fault. If you're not doing your job, if you missed a meeting, if you're not, sending out reports, if you're not, that means it's something missing. So I go to my team and how can I help you? How can I help you more? What can I do to make this better? Right? What tools do you need? Maybe they don't have enough tools. And I figure out what do they need. And then I help them, I help them out and I give them support. And I take ownership when things go wrong, no matter what. Because if they didn't send that email out, maybe I need a system in place to make sure they can send that email out on time and figure out what I need to do as the leader to fix that issue for them.
Got it. That's dope, man. That's dope, man. I love that perspective, especially since you were on one end and shifted. I think that's more powerful than actually just being in one place the whole time, because you understand both sides and what's required to transition. To see your own fault and transition is even more powerful. Hey, man. Well, thank you again, everybody. I hope you guys are inspired by and just his path, your journey, right? Because I want to commend you of this self-education, right? The self-awareness to realize the lack of skills you have in some places and then be able to go get those skills or be able to identify where those skills take place and then actually achieve, and which is that is a muscle, that's a science and journey individually and internally in itself. So I definitely want to commend you for that. And I definitely hope everybody can take those things away from this interview. Once again, as you guys know, as always, this video is brought to you by brandmannetwork.com, because I signed myself. If you like this video, go ahead and like button. If you like, you might as well share it. And if you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button.
It's the network.
Ow.